personally, I come from a working class family. My parents were teachers.
Yeah.
You know, my grandfather was a teacher too. So it's a family tradition. And you now draw it out. You see that amount cannot even pay your transportation. You will not talk about food. As of today, a bag of rice is still selling at 75,000.
True.
Okay? So how is this person going to work? Because our people, our leaders, sometimes you ask yourself, are they from space? You understand? You know the emotional trauma that thing pushes you through. The damage it does to you. You have given out all your life, all your energy, your best to a particular institution. And they just wave you away as if you're nobody, a rag, one day. And you see it happening everywhere, even in the organized private sector, where the right of the workers are most trampled upon. The NLC, the current NLC leadership, they are not negotiators. You understand me? And people say, Izotana, Iwezobute. What is important in today's worker life is let him get something that can put food on his table. There is no country that do not devote a large portion of their earnings to social protection.
Absolutely.
You understand? Yeah. Because more than half of your country must fall under the economic impoverished group. Yeah. And you must bring out policies that will protect them.
Yeah. Okay, good morning and welcome to News Review on TV Sapienza exclusively. I'm Jude Geoman and I'm here with Adoma. It's okay.
Why are you taking time to call my name?
Yeah, I need to. You know, it needs to flow out of my mouth gently. Adoma is okay. All right.
Adoma is okay. Good morning, Geoman.
Yes.
How are you and how was your night?
I'm fine. You know, I'm dressed for Workers' Day today. So today is minimum wage. Okay. So this is how, you know, we are minimum wage.
So you are hoping they implement it.
Well, even if they don't implement it today, they'll implement it tomorrow.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, those of us on minimum wage don't wear ties. So today, I'm in solidarity with the millions of Nigerians on minimum wage and less. So this is me today.
All right.
You know, nothing. All right. Okay. So happy Workers' Day to you.
Same to you.
You expecting anything today?
Today is still.
You've not gotten the alert.
Yeah.
Oh, you just remember you didn't get the alert. Well, I've been living with the reality of not getting that alert. Okay. So nobody needs to remind me. You see, that's the beautiful thing with being a woman. You have to be reminded, you've not gotten that alert.
Are you serious?
Oh, nobody needs to remind me. Every day. I live with that reality. All right, this is actually saying Happy International Workers' Day.
Yeah.
To every worker of this world, but especially our country, Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yes. It's been a very, very eventful year, 2024, for Nigerian workers. From so many struggles, we've seen them hit the streets in protest. We've seen them call attention to their welfare. We've seen them have back and forth with government and all of that. So today happens to be their day. We'll see how we celebrate it.
We've also seen them, some of them threaten the federal government with strike.
Yes.
It has been a lot.
It's really been a lot. But then to talk about the International Labour Day, it's something we're going to have time to talk about, both on this program and for those who will be with us on Sapienza Express. Today is all about us, the minimum wage earners. All right, let's begin today. I'm welcoming Mr. Chuks Ebue, PhD. He was here with us last week. Now going to be more like a regular face with us on this very day. Welcome to the program. Of course, he is head of faculty, the Onitsha Business School Faculty of Project Management. Of course, he's a major player. You all remember, but just to say, I've not seen my rice yet. Maybe today Workers' Day. You know, every worker deserves his
You keep asking him about
I'm
this.
not joking about that. I'm not joking about it.
His rice is still there. He has a small family. You understand?
Yeah.
You know he's a well-trained Nigerian. minimum family, minimum wage.
All right.
Last week you asked him about this, right?
No, was I joking about it? You know, today is Workers' Day.
Yeah, today is
minimum wage,
yeah.
and every worker deserves
You really mean
his
business.
wage. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean business.
No, you get it right.
All right, let's talk about some other set of people that
Yeah.
Thank you,
mean business.
Nigerians.
All right, that mean business today, and that is the Nigerian workers. Of course, International Workers' Day, or Workers' Day, as we call it in Nigeria, dates back to 1886, when union in the United States decided to hit the streets and, protest, strike, go back on strike, calling attention to working conditions, calling attention to the long hours of work and all of that. And then in 1889, the International Socialist Conference of Socialist Parties did meet in France, and decide that May 1st should be a day that is set aside to think about Workers' Day and all of that. But in Nigeria, like we said when we started out, it's been a long drawn. Today is May 1st. Tell us all about it.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Nigerians. Thank you, Geoman. Thank you, Adamarama. Today is Workers' Day, and it's a day that we are very passionate about because most of us have gone through the mill of being workers. Personally, I come from a working class family. My parents were teachers. My grandfather was a teacher too. So it's a family tradition. And currently, I pride myself as a Nigerian worker because from the banking industry to the World Bank with the Fadama office to Onitsha Business School. So I'm still a worker. You're okay? And also a farmer. A farmer is also a worker. Okay? Sure. So over the years, just like Geoman rightly said, the Nigerian worker has been treated like a footmat, just to put it mildly. Okay, I did a comparative analysis of the Nigerian work environment, even with the African environment. Okay. You understand? Because you compare apples to apples.
Yeah. Not because, oranges.
Because if I come and start talking about the Nigerian worker and start comparing it with the United States or what is obtained in Britain or some other very developed countries, I will say that is a different environment. But I've been looking at it. First, I want to look at the absolute figure, the absolute amount a Nigerian worker goes on with. We'll talk about the minimum wage, 30,000 naira. What does it translate? Maybe $20. Okay? Because the dollar has been fluctuating. So if we're using an average of 1,500, is $20 for the minimum wage.
For a month.
For a month.
Less than $1 a day.
Less than $1 a day.
Which is the benchmark for poverty.
The benchmark for poverty is far higher than that.
Wow.
So automatically, the Nigerian worker is living under the living standard of the UNDP. If you calculate, if you check with the international standards for livelihood, which is an area I played so much in my days in Fadama, you will see that it's a very, very painful and unfortunate situation that you see in the Nigerian worker. And it cuts across, okay? It cuts across because what we're talking about now is that even you go to Equatorial Guinea, the minimum wage is $224 a month, which means that there is close to 300,000. You understand? And you continue to South Africa. I won't say South Africa because we pride South Africa as a developed country. But you continue. In Africa, you see Seychelles as the highest minimum wage, $456 monthly. Okay? And in all of this, you look at Gabon.
Our brothers love them.
Our brother, yeah. Gabon is about 250, 600, 240 something dollars. Okay, so why I'm trying to draw this down so that we can start to have a mental picture of the way the Nigerian
Gabon definitely not an oil-rich country.
Yeah, they are oil-rich anyway, but not much. You understand? They're a small country. Okay? Equatorial Guinea is also a small country.
Small.
Poor leadership even, because they is a family controlled presidency and everything. But still, you still see them having something good for their workers. Okay? So you see that the Nigerian worker has been brushed off so long. And like you were giving the history of workers' protest, I recall, you remember the Fela's mom from Fumila Kuti?
True.
It dates back in the 50s.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And even to Beko Ramson Kuti and the rest of them,
Ramson
protesting the plight of the Nigerian workers.
Yeah.
And you go to Ghana for Ahimi, leading so many others. And then you now get to Oshomole, who, hate him or love him, well, for me, has been the best labor leader Nigeria has ever produced. Well, in modern times.
For my generation, we've not seen a better one.
Yeah, sure. You understand?
For my generation,
you see him coming from UNTL in Kaduna and championing the cause of the Nigerian worker during his tenure. And he was resilient. He was undoubted. No matter what you said, he stood his ground. And the Nigerian worker got a better deal under Oshomole. After Oshomole, we started having, I don't know what to call them. Even the current Ajero now, I don't know what to call him. No, I'm telling you the truth. And that is why a lot of people have been accusing him as being a member of APC. You recall last October when he threatened to shut down the country because of increasing cost of living. But at the end, nothing happened. Okay?
He always called it off.
And he always called it off. And my own pain, when we're talking about the Nigerian worker, is you say this is your take home. Your take home cannot take you beyond the gate of where you're working.
Your take home cannot even take you home.
No, now it can't. Your take home will not go across the gate. I've seen people, you know, who were working with me. You see a security staff who is being paid 20,000, and you start seeing those that even minimum wage. You say, okay, it's 30. They will grudgingly pay you 30,000. The person will leave maybe because, let's take for instance, you're working in Oka, DJ Geoman, and your salary is 30,000 naira.
Yeah.
Two scenarios played out immediately. Number one is that salary cannot fetch you any accommodation within the Oka metropolis.
It's not possible.
So you're coming to work from your village, or you go to far drawn out places.
Yeah.
You understand? Mbakwa and the rest of them to get accommodation. Okay? Now, that 30,000 naira, somebody in his right mind will expect you to be able to come to work more than once a week. Transportation cost from that place you're staying to your office will not take you less than 2,000 naira. Definitely. That is if you are taking the lowest public transportation because of the distance. And you now draw it out. You see that that amount cannot even pay your transportation. You will not talk about food. As of today, a bag of rice is still selling at 75,000.
True.
Okay? So how is this person going to work? Because people, leaders, sometimes you ask yourself, are they from space? How is this worker supposed to cope? And you now come in and your supervisor is trying to drag that person that he is late to work or that he missed 1 day or 2 days at work. Come on, what are you talking about? So it's been a horrible thing, and the work environment of within Nigeria is something that is the worst around. When I was in the banking industry, we did also a comparative. At the time, there was this a senior person in UBA, you know, an executive director. He came in from I think it was Burkina Faso, no, Cote d'Ivoire. Okay, and he worked with us there for over 2 months thereabout. Right. He was staying at Grand Hotel, and he felt, in fact, he was so bitter. The environment we work under, even as senior bankers like we are, there, he said that none of our branches can function in this country, Cote d'Ivoire here, that will all be shut down. One, that there was no provision for the welfare of staff. Okay, no good water, no good accommodation, no good sitting arrangement. In their place, you will have the staff quarters. If you cannot afford to rent an apartment, you come there and stay. You'll be fed. Breakfast is free in the office. You come in and you have your breakfast. And you have something to eat before you go home. And so many things. And he said, once we are out there in the marketing environment, once it's 12 o'clock, he will tell us that he's going for his break. He's coming back by 2. He will go and take his lunch at Grand Hotel. After lunch, he will go and have a 1-hour nap and come out. He said a worker is entitled to leave the office. You go home and spend at least an hour to rest, to calm down your brain before you come back. And if you look at most of the Francophone West African countries, Cameroon, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, they all adopt these workers' welfare environment. But in Nigeria, it's nothing. And again, the way you are sacked or dismissed in Nigeria, nobody cares. You understand? I'm not even coming to the organized private sector. You understand? Because the organized private sector is worse.
It's the worst.
You understand? You work in a bank and you come to work in a day and your laptop, you've been locked up. You've been locked out, you can't log in. You understand? You know the emotional trauma that thing pushes you through. The damage it does to you. You have given out all your life, all your energy, your best to a particular institution. And they just wave you away as if you're nobody, a rag, one day. And you see it happening everywhere, even in the organized private sector, where the right of the workers are most trampled upon. Within the government establishment, you can have some say, you understand, because you go through a disciplinary process before you are.
And once you pass through recruitment, laying you off takes
a longer time. So these are the things beyond the minimum wage. These are the things I expect the leadership of the workers to take up within the country. Let there start being a systematic reformation of the work environment. Let the workers start seeing themselves as a human being. Okay? Let the dehumanization of the average Nigerian worker should stop. And it has to stop. You have to start from giving him a living wage. I've just been reading this morning that the is about 35% increase. And I laugh.
And this administration, if we recall, when there was this whole talk about minimum wage during the campaigns, because that was one of the things that was on the table.
Yes.
Today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised that he was going to pay a living wage.
A living wage.
That was what he said.
Yes.
He said the idea of minimum wages, that they were going to pay a living wage, and that this was going to be calculated looking at the basic reality, because that is how you come
yes.
How much, what is the average people pay for electricity,
Beautiful.
health,
because that
food.
is where we are going to now.
Yes. Okay.
You're saying somebody that you are increasing his salary by 35%. In the past 1 year, what has the cost of living increased by? Okay.
Electricity tariff just increased by 300.
and they said if you cannot accept it, then you should receive them blackout.
Things again, my own is that you negotiate this so-called minimum wage with the leadership of the. No, these things should be taken down to the zones. Let the workers themselves have an input into what affects their lives. Fuel had been increased by over 1,000%. From 187 naira to 730 if you are in the southeast here. In Abuja is 1,000. In Lagos, you might not even see it at all.
So Marcelli 1.5.
Of course.
In the north, there was an article in the northern state, 2,000 something.
Yes. And you are increasing the worker's salary by 35%. And you want him to be able to go to work. Come on now, let's be fair to ourselves.
It's so easy for these persons to increase salaries of the people working with them, like these
legislatures. Yes.
There was a time these lawmakers came out and said that their take-home salaries are no longer taking them home, and they were lamenting that they need it to be increased. And knowing fully well that we don't even know how much they are being paid. Recently, we don't even know how much they are being paid. We don't even know whether it's about 1 million or 3
the
million.
IRMAC has refused to come out.
They've not told us how much, and
Yeah.
there was a time they came out and they were lamenting that it's no longer taking them home. They need it to be increased, and now they've brought out this 35% of minimum wage. They are saying they are going to increase it. That means if you're earning social amount, it's going to be increased by 35%.
Yeah, you're earning 100,000 naira.
It is,
and maybe you've been earning that 100,000 naira for the past 5 years.
Exactly.
You understand? You know, when 100,000 naira could buy you 3 bags of rice.
Yeah.
You understand? Could at least get you a half bag of beans, a bag of rice, and assist in paying for your children's school fees. Now, the 100,000 naira, that 100,000 naira has been reduced to less than 10,000 naira.
True.
In real terms.
In real terms. In real
You
terms.
understand? In real terms.
Yes, it's true. In real terms.
In real terms.
100,000 naira today is about what 10,000 naira used to be.
I'm telling you.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes, 2-3 years ago.
Exactly what
No,
it used to be.
that is it. Because when I'm going to my office in Oka, as at early last year, if I put 3,000 naira fuel in my car, I'll go to work and come back from Onitsha. Now, I need 20,000 naira fuel to go to the same place and come back with the same vehicle. Not that it's a bigger vehicle, with the same vehicle. So you can now check from 3,000 to 20,000 and do the maths yourself. And now ask, what is the incremental rise from 3,000 to 20? Or even if you say to 15,000.
You're looking over 700%.
I'm telling you.
You understand?
You're
me?
looking at over 700%.
And you are telling the person that you are increasing. If I'm earning 100,000 naira, okay, and I was using 3,000 naira to fuel my vehicle to work, okay, and now you tell me that I will earning 135,000 naira. Have you addressed my situation?
Now, that brings me to a question, because, as we celebrate Workers' Day today, before today, we've seen the back and forth between Ajero, the NLC, TUC, and the federal government. Yeah. We saw Ajero, for instance, come up to say the least they're going to accept is 1 million naira.
That was unrealistic.
Yes, people talked about it being unrealistic, but then we saw the back and forth, and later it seemed as, I think there was a zonal hearing and all of that along the 6 geopolitical zones. But NLC said it was, I think, 615 thereabout. Yeah. But then leading to today, we saw the NLC come up with 7 the list of demands. The 7 list of demands. So yes. What do you think about that list of demands before we talk about how they might react to the 35% increase, which is a far cry from what they told us they wanted. But what do you think of the 7 demands? Do you think, looking at those 7 demands, do you think they hit the nail? Do you think it's also realistic? Do you think it's a diversion? What do you think of those 7 demands?
I've said, see, in life, focus on what is realistic. Okay? For me, the NLC, the current NLC leadership, they are not negotiators. You understand me? And people say, Izotana. What is important in today's worker life is let him get something that can put food on his table. Narrow down your 7-point demand, or whatever you call it, to the first one is the actual amount the worker is going to take home. Insist on it. Negotiate it, work it out with the current inflationary trend in the country. Yeah. Because that is the way you negotiate with your leadership. Okay? Let everybody be sincere about it. A worker that is earning 30,000 naira, how much does he need? Not only him, not without family.
Yeah, without family, yeah.
What does he need to survive, to be alive, not even to flourish? To be alive.
Just to be alive.
Just to be alive. What does he need? To be alive and come to work. What does it need? So they should be dispassionate about it. That's what I expected them to do. That to say, see, it will take 100,000 naira minimum for a leased worker under the current Nigerian realities to be able to leave his place, pay transportation, which has increased by at least 300%. Okay, the cost of transportation.
Yeah.
Buy food, which has increased in some instances by more than 300%.
Yeah.
Because as I early last year, I was selling rice at 28,000
Can you imagine?
for a bag of rice.
True. Yeah.
You understand me? And now it's at 75,000.
75.
So it has increased by at least close to 300% or more. Okay? So these are the things that they should come with the negotiation. Give them, take this worker back to 2 years ago or to early last year, before the current increases, which are infected by the policies of the government. I've said it. You understand? You don't put the cat before the horse. I've said this severally. You understand? You don't come out and start turning out policies that you have not done a simulation to see the end result. You remove the petroleum subsidy without the workers' input, and you forced it down their throat. You liberalize the naira without the workers' input. Okay, and now you are now shoving down their truth. You have increased the electricity tariff without the workers' input. Come on. And so you're telling the Nigerian workers that they are not human beings. That's just what you're saying. And it's so insulting. You say you are increasing workers' salary across board by 35%.
All right.
Okay, so let's move it over to fuel. You know, we've discovered that a lot of fuel stations are not even selling the same amount. Some persons are selling 720, 730, and some persons are not even selling that. They're holding the fuels, and you find out that some persons are now selling fake. Probably if they buy it at let's say if they buy something like that can get like 20 liters, they will now mix it with crude. It's so bad that thereby you're selling fake fuel to some persons and that kind of fuel can even spoil your engine or your vehicle, because
the incentive is there. You understand? You know, the incentive is very much there, because if
the incentive to adulterate.
Yes.
The incentive to adulterate is there.
Is there.
You understand? If fuel was being sold when fuel was available, being sold across all the filling stations and at affordable prices, okay, the incentive to adulterate will reduce. But you understand? Yeah. But just now, like you're saying, you get 20 liters and you adulterate. Just imagine that you adulterate and get another 20 liters and you sell at even 700 naira. That you're talking about 14,000 for just 20 liters of fuel.
My question is, why are there no those
regulations?
People? Yes, that are meant to be doing it. I've never seen any of them in Anambra State.
Yeah, they are there. I see DPR. But
you know when such a thing happens.
How effective they are.
Exactly. This kind of thing, when they find out that a fuel station is doing that, they should shut down that that feeling. I've never seen anything like that in Anambra State. And my problem is, I still ask this question: why is Tinubu still working with Buhari's failed team?
Which of their failed team? You
know, the NNPC, the people there.
The Mele Kyari them and the rest of them. See,
Mele Kyari.
The thing in Nigeria is this: is if one accepts that this person has failed, you are saying Buhari's failed team.
Yes, of course.
You understand? It's the same government, it's the same APC.
It's the same government. He's actually, President Tinubu can be divorced from Buhari. He brought Buhari to us. He introduced Buhari to us. He sold Buhari to us.
He forced Buhari down our throat.
Yes, and he continuously, even the re-election, he said this is the best thing that will happen to Nigeria. During his campaign, he praised Buhari. So he is yet to admit, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is yet to admit that Buhari is a failure. So he wouldn't take any steps that should paint him in that light. Look at Emefiele, for instance. CBN governor never carried out any policy. Every policy he's been tried for was approved
By the president.
by Mr. Buhari. But Mr. Buhari is still in
his enjoying
Katsina.
himself in.
But Emefiele
Has
is
been
being
going
hounded.
through
Even in the news today,
trials.
he's going
Yes,
to
sir.
be rearranged. Now, let us also sit talking about Workers' Day. Let's talk about something that hits every Nigerian worker. Yesterday, we saw the House of Representatives come up to call on NEC to suspend this tariff hike
electricity
that
new
was
tariff.
announced, citing different reasons for this. One of them they talked about was the fairness, one of them they talked about was the reasonableness, and they are trying to say what, of course, the law demands.
Yeah.
That there really should be some expanded consultation before this happens. So they've set up a special committee. They set up a special committee to have this public hearing the way it really should be, and then see how we go on. What do you think of this? Because one of the things Labour had been talking about leading to we hearing this 35% was that it's even good the government, I like that line, it's even good the government increase this tariff right now before the
minimum wage
because it's going to give them room to
negotiate
further. So what do you think about the move by the House of Representatives to do maybe what it should have done all this while?
Thank you so much. I keep saying this. The Nigeria is a jungle.
Wow.
Yes. You take it or you leave it. That's just the truth. There's no system. There's no structure. There are no processes. And no country can move forward with this kind of scenario. There's no consumer protection. In civilized climes, you can't just wake up and say you are increasing even the price of bread. But it's only in Nigeria you get those kind of things happening. Okay? The House of Representatives, what are the schedule of their duties? Both the National Assembly, both the NEC, the National Electricity Regulation Commission, which are supposed to be the regulatory body, regulating the providers of electricity and the consumers of electricity.
Yes.
What has happened? So you see that in this country, nothing. The Minister of Power is such. Listening to him, I want to puke. I don't know who brought this big man there and made him a minister.
I don't know what gave him the qualification.
No,
to
honestly,
that position.
the day I was listening to him talking about the Nigerians, we don't off our freezer. It was such a slap.
So childish.
I said, and you say you lived abroad in UK or wherever you lived. Do you ever put off your freezer?
Very, very annoying question. Like,
You understand?
That's true.
And you are telling somebody that may not have had light throughout the day, that he should off his freezer for the small 1 hour or 2 hours.
He actually said that the freezer would be blocked, but Nigerians will still leave it. I can't remember.
Have you ever seen your freezer blocked?
I can't remember the last time I saw
generator
blocked.
Ever since
I can't
January
remember.
this year, I could count how many times I've seen lights.
Of course.
It is.
And somebody somewhere is playing on the intelligence. So the issue you ask, the question you asked about the House of Reps, yes, there is better late than never.
Yeah.
You understand? Their move is right because somebody needs to look out for the ordinary person in the country. And somebody has to ask himself, what are the processes towards increase in electricity tariff? Because this is a public issue.
Yeah, it is.
You understand? It's a public delivery, just like you have in the fuel sector. So what they're doing is okay. Call these people to order. Let there be proper consultation. Let them even look at the schedule establishing these electricity discourse, and we'll look at the proper schedules and look at whether those things have been followed, whether the right processes have been followed, and what are the justification for the hike, what has led to that amount of hike.
Yes.
And the funny bands that they brought out to utilize.
Which is one of the things they talked about, the discriminatory
practice,
rate. Yeah.
Even from one state to the other.
Yes.
You
Yes,
yes, even from one location to the other.
Yes, true.
Okay, you see Yola paying about the highest tariff. You know, compared to some other locations. Yes, I know maybe the cost of generating electricity and transmitting it to those locations might be a lot more expensive, but there should be a government influence.
But that was a silly excuse for the government retaining 100% equity in TCN.
Yes, TCN.
So even by their own logic, even by their own logic, that shouldn't happen.
I keep saying this, even when the removal of subsidy happened. I say, what is the cost of social investment? There is no country that do not devote a large portion of their earnings to social protection.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because more than half of your country must fall under the economic impoverished group.
Yeah.
And you must bring out policies that will protect them.
Yeah.
So when they removed the fuel subsidy, I cried because I know whatever they seem to save, they said they wanted to save 3 trillion. You understand? The disruption in both the productive, economic, and social life of the people. No,
they actually said they wanted to save 3 trillion was what they claimed. Because
was the subsidy.
We've not seen it. No,
yes.
No, 3 trillion was what they said they had saved in a month.
No, they said 1 trillion. He said 1 trillion.
Yeah, no.
He first of all came out and said they've saved up to 1 trillion.
Billion.
No.
Sorry, they bastardized me so much with this amount of money. Because what they said they were paying for subsidy was actually $10 billion.
Yes.
Yes. So they came out to say that they were paying 3 trillion a year. That was the budget for subsidy.
For subsidy, that is true.
You understand?
True, yes.
It's 3 trillion. Now, and I kept saying, the truth is that subsidy, you have about 60% of it as fraud.
True.
You understand? Everybody expected that should have been taken care of before you start removing the subsidy. So you know the actual amount that is subsidized. Now, beyond that, I keep saying, if it was 3 trillion that a government will pay in the country to maintain increasing productivity, maintain social order, as a cost of social investment in the country, is it too much? Okay. Now, developmental economics have been reviewing, and people have been saying that with the disruption that only the removal of that fuel subsidy has caused, the millions of workers that have lost their jobs in the informal sectors, the welders, the pure water dealers, and all those stuff. You understand? If you put 20 trillion in the economy, it cannot address this disruption. The loss of livelihood, the erosion of somebody was eating 3 times a day. The removal of that fuel subsidy brought that person down to eating once or even not eating. You understand? These are social disruptions in the system. Nobody reviewed and did a proper simulation about this. So, and this is what we are talking about. Now, for this electricity tariff, they should also look at this. Coming from the lessons learned from the fuel subsidy removal, that they should not rush into something that will affect the gamut of the main the larger population of the lower Nigerians in terms of low-income people who are also using this electricity to carry out their day-to-day jobs. Okay, so they should look at it well. The House of Reps should call them to order, and they should negotiate. And let us even know. Let us know. The government, are they saying that they don't want to have anything to do with the social investment in the country? Everywhere, even in US, in UK, let them go to those places. The cost of social investment in those countries.
I laugh when you say this because the APC administration, because this actually started from the administration of President Buhari.
Yes.
They have defined social investment, but it's not what you're saying. Social investment is about giving bags of rice to APC chieftains,
and then 50,000 to some people, and they credit you 30,000 for 3 months. That is not social
and then we
investment.
see stampedes and people die, and then they stop it. That is what they mean by social investment. Social investment is not what you see in the UK. So they go there, but they've learned something better, and it's a hybrid. All right, no, we're completely out of time.
Are we?
Yeah, we're out of time.
Okay.
All right, thank you for being here with us on News Review. But then this conversation continues on Sapiencia Radio today,
yeah. So we join
at 8 a.m. All right, so join us as we continue the conversation on Workers' Day. I'm Jude Geoman.
Adoma Ezokike. Thanks for watching.
I'm Chukwuka Ebwe, and I thank you for watching. And Nigerian workers, happy Workers' Day.
All right, happy Workers' Day.
Day.
Okay.